right, guys, welcome back. Today, my guest is Armah Shiancoe. My man is a business leadership executive coach. He's been in the space for over 10 years at this point. He's been making a lasting impact on a lot of people's life, including mine. He has several different accolades under his belt. He just received his master's in talent and organization development. He's also has an executive coaching certificate as well. He is the creator of a competitive youth soccer club that has grown to over 14 teams in just 3 years. He is also the co-founding member of a platform known as Flexi, which connects high school students and college students to local businesses to fill employment gaps. This man right here has had a great impact on my life. As I said before, I met him when I was just a young, lost teenage man, probably sophomore, junior year, sometime around then. He was my entrepreneurship teacher, and I needed help in that time, and I didn't realize that. I did not know that. But the way Armah has his way with people as far as communication goes, and how he can communicate who he is as an individual, there's you just have to see it in action. So it helped me out a lot in that time. We connected from the first day I set foot in this guy's class right here. It was just, I could tell he cared about each and every one of us in a way that I didn't even know was possible from, just a teacher, so to say, right? Mm-hmm. And wow. The community that was in that class and the relationship that we developed throughout that class, there's a lot to be said for it. So today my goal was kind of just to bring him on the show, get to know him, get everybody to know his process, what his life has been like, how he's helping people. We'll just take it from there. So Armah, if you just want to jump in, man, tell us a little bit about your journey, how that started, and we'll just go from there.
Mitchell, this is a full circle moment of pride for me, not in personal pride, but just this opportunity to really connect with you on this level, because to your point, when you and I met, man, you were going through it. You're trying to figure it out. You were a teenager and doing what teenagers do, right?
Right. Yeah.
And experiencing life from that standpoint. But it's interesting you share all these things because I chose to go into the classroom as one to be who I needed when I was your age and the rest of your ages, right? And you never know exactly how it's all going to play out. You hope for the best, right? And you choose to be intentional with it. At least let me speak from my perspective and how I approached it. And you never know how this thing plays out long term. But I always walked into those classrooms, just my singular hope and prayer was that one of you walked away with something that allowed for you to prepare yourselves and position yourselves for a much better future. And whatever I was responsible for, simply all I cared about was providing you all what you all needed individually, speaking that is, and connecting with you individually so that you got what you needed to help you along your journey. So my pride comes from watching you truly choose a path that is inspiring even for me, because I know where you come from, right? I know what you've had to fight and battle and what you've overcome and what you've broken through. And you're still doing all of those things, and you're in the process of all of it. So it's truly an honor, man. And this is why I chose to go into the classroom, to catch you all back then in hopes that you will take some of the things that I was dropping in there to help you on your journey. So that way you're able to overcome and battle it out with anything and everything that was coming, because this is life, man. The battle never stops.
Never stops. Never stops, man. And you certainly did that, man. You brought it full force, and I know it helped me, and I think there's plenty of other people in the class that did the same thing, man. So I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful.
Absolutely. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to really chop it up with you on this level now. And you asked about my story. The truth of the matter, and to keep it very simple here, is that I'm one who came from West Africa, which is where I was born, two different countries, living there in two different countries equally, and never ever really fitting in necessarily, right? Having to be somebody when you're in one and then having to be somebody else. And this is all before the age of 9 years old, right? Because I came to the U.S. right before I turned 10. So bouncing between two countries equally, having to adjust and assimilate to different cultures, and then also having to speak different languages, eat different foods. Everything was different within each one, even though they're, yes, African countries, but each one was still unique in itself. And it came with its own demands and all of those things and challenges even.
Right.
So I think for me, man, that's where I was fortunate to learn how to adapt and assimilate in a very unique way, in a very quick way, to where when I came to the US when I was about 9, almost 10 years old in 92, man, I was in fifth grade. Second half of fifth grade is when I got here. And then I'm watching everything play out, and it's all different from what I'm used to. It's a whole different world out here. And then I'm also not very fluent in English. I had just started learning English right before I left Africa. Got here, started getting picked on about it and even bullied for it.
Right.
And I remember getting so annoyed and so pissed and so, because I got bullied so bad one day, I felt this small, dude. And I just literally, something in me just said, you know what? This is the end of it. So I literally walked up to the guy or the person. I don't even remember what they look like, but I just remember walking up to the person and saying, in my own broken English, I'm going to learn your language and I'm going to speak it better than you one day. And I just walked off. And I obsessed over this thing since then, man. And behind closed doors, every moment I got, even not just in how I spoke, I'm working at it. I'm practicing it. I'm obsessively working at it to improve. And I even started learning. So I didn't even go out of recess anymore because I was like, you know, if I go out there, they're going to pick on me anyway. So I ain't going nowhere. So I would literally be the only kid in the classroom in fifth grade. And then I started noticing that, oh, wow, all of my peers here know how to write in cursive. And I saw the lettering across the top of the board or the top of the walls in the classroom, but I had never learned how to write cursive in Africa before I came. So I was like, you know what? While I'm here, I'm going to make the best use of my time. So I'm going to learn how to write some cursive, damn it. So I would literally spend time during recess just writing and teaching myself how to write cursive just by looking at the letters across the top of the wall.
Wow.
So much so, man, that that's how I learned how to write cursive. And by the end of I would say, towards the end of my sixth grade year, all of a sudden people stopped picking on me or even asking me where I was from, because I guess that's when the accent started to go away a little bit more.
Right.
And I just continued at it. And I share that because I just believed in, and I still to this day even more so believe that anything that's a challenge or a weakness, as some call it, we can literally work at and turn into our strengths.
Mm.
And I live by that.
I love that, man.
And I'm a savage with it.
I love
Right?
it, man. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so I believe we can dominate whatever we choose to dominate. And for me, it was early on the English language, and I've worked at it, and I still work at it to the point where it's not even about how I speak anymore or just how I write. It's about how I communicate. And one of my goals is to be one of the top communicators in the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I hope it's working.
I think it is, man. I think it is. No, that's awesome, man. That is awesome.
So yeah,
That's
man.
good.
So yeah,
Uh,
but I share that just for context, just to help people just get a little glimpse into my makeup as a person, because I've applied that same thought process and mentality to just about everything, right? When
yeah.
you met me as a teacher, I had just decided to switch careers and become a teacher. That's
Wow.
not what I went to high school, or I mean, that's not what I left high school and graduated from college and decided to do with my life.
Right.
I didn't even go to college right out of high school either. I took 4 years before I even got back into college and spent 4 years between high school and college just failing miserably at life. But that taught me a lot of lessons. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I learned a great deal to the point where when I got into college, I knew everything that I didn't want versus what I wanted. And that actually pushed and propelled me to working at becoming a person of excellence, which is what I decided ultimately, not knowing exactly what route. Yes, I knew I had an interest in business
Right.
and I majored in business, but ultimately it was about developing myself into someone of value and being a
Mm.
person of excellence. And that's what I've really stuck to.
Mm. Wow. And it obviously it shows, my brother. It shows, man.
I appreciate you saying that because it's hard work,
Yes,
Mitch.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. So, as far as that commitment to excellence early on, so to say early on, like what do you feel like you could have went into any other path and took that with you, or I mean, explain that to us, like as far as how you got started. in that
That's a
way?
great question. It's a great question, man, because I'm of the mindset and belief that I could become excellent at whatever I decide. And to give you an example, so when I went into college, I did many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had never been to college. I came into college 4 years, started a community college route even. I studied for 3 days for a placement test before I ever even signed up for classes, bro. And that was just my mindset. I was about 22 at the time, right? And I decided, you know what, whatever I'm going to do, go hard at it, put in the time and the energy, and see what comes out of it.
Mm,
So even before I even got signed up for classes, I had to take a placement test anyway, which was required.
right.
And for me, it wasn't so much of just showing up and then taking it and then hoping for the best. I made up my mind that I was not going to take any remedial or developmental classes. That was not an option. And because that was not an option, it made me walk into their testing center way before I even took the exam and the test and asked, like, look, I have to take your placement test for this upcoming semester. Do you all have any practice tests, curriculums, or paper or anything that I could use? And at the time, everything was in paper, right?
Yeah.
And they said, here's our study guides or placement test study guides and all that. I took those things. There were three parts of it. I took each of them. I went home, and for 3 days straight, because that's how long I felt it took for me to actually get to the point where I felt like I was prepared to go ahead and take that test. And I literally studied for 3 days, no less than 6 hours per day.
Wow. I was studying, man.
And I showed up, took the test, and I accomplished the goal of not taking any developmental or remedial classes. All of my
Wow.
classes were college level, and I got placed into them. And then I set some other goals where one of them was I needed to get or become a Dean's List student, which meant that I had A's and B's only my first semester ever in college. That was a goal. I set that, I wrote it down. And then the other goal was I want to make sure I get scholarships or transfer to whatever school I'm going to when I leave here.
Right.
So those are my three goals.
There you go.
Don't take remedial classes or developmental classes. Make sure you earn and get on the Dean's List, all A's and B's, first semester ever in college. And then get yourself in position to get scholarships so you can transfer to wherever you want to go. And then I decided that I was going to go to the 4 year school here in Charlotte, UNCC, because that's all I knew about. And that was one of the bigger schools in the area. And I hadn't thought about much else. And that's what I basically just rallied around, man. And
Made
I
it
just plowed through it. And
happen.
it's just funny. And I share that because the human mind is a powerful thing, brother. We pick and choose what we want to do with this life of ours. And the moment we make that decision and we're willing to put in the work, we're not nothing can stop us, man,
Except ourselves. Except
except
us.
ourselves. Truthfully, we're the only ones that can stop ourselves, man. And by me setting those three goals, not only did I get into my college level classes, I had my 3.5 GPA at the end of that first semester, and I even had to take a public speaking course that I was afraid of because at that time in my life, I didn't like speaking in public
Yeah.
because I was dealing with a lot of traumas and issues and you name it to where I always kept to myself.
Right.
But that thrusted me into just becoming comfortable with just speaking in public. And it was an impromptu speech during a public speaking class that really forced me.
Mm.
And it switched my mindset in that moment to where I said, if I can do this in this moment, I can apply this in every moment. And that's what's truly helped me. A community college public speaking class. And mind you, I had a great professor, by the way, which is also an aspect of this because that's why, for me, that person was also one of the inspirations for me to even consider being a teacher,
Mm. Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
they had an impact on me to the point where I felt comfortable getting in front of a class of people that I didn't feel comfortable speaking in public in front of and giving an impromptu speech along with the many other speeches. That was the most challenging one for me because you had to basically make up everything on the spot by just choosing an item that you were going to center your focus and your topic on,
Right.
right?
Just throw you in the water.
Man, you want to talk about deep end too with sharks. But coming out of that experience, it really changed my perspective and my mindset on a lot from a speaking standpoint. And funny enough, not only did I get my GPA, I did well in that class and got an A. The following year, I became student government president,
Mm.
which I didn't go after. I was asked to even consider it. And when I became that, and when it happened, I had no choice but to speak in public because
Yeah.
that was a part of the role. So that was essentially the preparation. And
Yeah.
it's funny how life plays out. And I share that because life is funny, man. When we dominate the things that we're supposed to dominate in the moments that we're in those things, it only prepares us for the next thing.
Mm. Mm.
Little did I know that me going through that, how ironic that I took that class my first semester ever of college.
That, yeah.
And then a year later, I'm now in a position to serve as the only student with board of trustee members who are appointed by the governor, the mayor, and all of these top end people, including the president of the college himself,
Wow.
who's one of the 16 at the time's top 16, 11 most powerful people in all of North Carolina.
Wow.
And I'm sitting and I'm looking around like, how in the world did I get here? But it was only because I made up my mind that I wanted to serve and I wanted to be of service. And it wasn't a position that I sought after. I was asked to consider it, and I even tried to get away from it. But here's where the whole getting scholarship money now plays in. When I was
Mm.
asked to consider doing this, I came up with a list of things that I would use as an excuse because I thought it would say no to me, and then I wouldn't have to do it. Because I
Right.
asked them, hey, if you want me to do this student government president thing, which is not what I'm interested in, I'm going to need your help with X, Y, and Z. And one of them included helping me get scholarship dollars.
Okay.
Not because I'm asking you to just hand it to me or give it to me or I'm entitled to it.
Right.
Point me in the direction of where I have some options based on where I can apply for them and write for them. Whatever I got to do, I'm willing to do it, but just direct me.
Right. Send me in the right direction.
Bro,
Love
that was 2 out of 3 things. Once I say yes to that one, I was like, you know what? You got me.
it. Yeah.
You
I'm
got
here
me.
now.
You got me. I'm here. So, long story short, I ended up becoming a student government president. And that also changed my mindset. And it gave me a whole new world to look at from a different lens and angle. And just being around people that were doing things at the highest of levels.
Mm.
Brother, man, I'm hearing budgets. I'm privy and aware of budgets way before they even announced to the general population that were no smaller than $500,000 at that time in my life. And I'm looking around like, how in the world is this possible? So that helped me look at things from a business standpoint, is
Right.
ultimately what I'm saying, right? Because everything is a business. Even at a community college, you would never think. And I'm seeing the blueprints and the architectural designs for renovations and for new buildings and all these different things. And I'm seeing all these things way before even VPs of the college are made aware of it.
Wow.
And then I'm leaving these board meetings, board of trustee meetings, and I'm looking at everything completely differently. I'm walking up and down even the roads of the college and just looking at these buildings that were going to be transformed and renovated. And I'm like, man, this is about to be amazing. And you can't really have these conversations with anybody else because they're looking at it like, what are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about?
So,
Yeah.
but I'm like, just you wait, it's coming. So I'm just sharing that because the journey has been an interesting one for me. And then I took that, I did 2 years of community college, and I also did get my scholarships from the same college in
Okay.
terms of being able to get money and all those things. And it connected me with powerful people, people of influence, people that had decision making authorities, and you name it. And I leveraged it and I nurtured them, and it led to me choosing to transfer to a 4-year private school right here in Charlotte that was my goal to not only get into, but to also get scholarships dollars there too. And it wasn't easy, man, but through God's glory and faithfulness and just trusting and believing and having him lead the way and being willing to work, I was fortunate to transfer into this school, got a bunch of experiences that I did not imagine would be coming. It taught me and developed me in ways that I didn't even see coming. And I was able to graduate with my 4-year degree and double majoring in business administration and marketing. And I owe the school no dollars afterwards.
Wow.
$26,000 a year it was at the time too.
Wow.
But
Oh, wow.
I labored, bro. Like
Yeah.
I went through a lot for it. But God, that's the glory of God, though. You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes, sir. I love that, man. That's no, that's awesome. And like you said, to get out after all of it, earn everything you got, and be out scotch free, so to say, afterwards, because you earned it all. That's awesome.
we earn
When
whatever we're willing to work for. You see what I mean?
Yep, yep, yep.
That's it.
When when you got into the you became the student government president. I'm sorry. What exactly was the title? I'm sorry. Student.
Student government president.
Okay,
Yeah,
student government. Okay. When you got
yeah,
into that organization, the group. Tell us a little bit more about like the group, kind of like how you got around more people and how just being
absolutely.
around the people and networking in general. How, did that?
Oh
How much
man,
of an effect did that have on you?
it was mind blowing, bro. Because truthfully, in high school and any time before my community, my any college experience or any of my college experiences, I was not the group type.
Yeah.
I was not the one checking for the student governments of the world because at the time I'm trying to fit in, I'm trying to be cool, or I'm trying to stay under the radar and not bring
Right.
attention to myself. And I just throughout my high school career, man, I was more of a nomad, and I would just sit down with any different groups at any time and just try to not be noticed. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But in college, it was a different mindset from the standpoint of this is where I chose to challenge myself.
Mm,
And I wanted to be pushed. I wanted to be challenged in ways that would force me to level up and grow. So when I actually showed up at the community college, one of the things that I looked into was how do I find things to keep me preoccupied to where if I'm not in class, I'm doing something productive. Because if I wasn't doing something productive, I was going to find something messed up.
yep. Yep.
Because I'm high energy. I'm self aware to the point where I knew I was high energy enough to where if I didn't have something positive to put my energy into, man, I was going to find something that probably was going to have me on a whole different track. You see what I mean?
But
So go ahead.
to have that awareness though at a young age, I mean that's not
Well, I
it's
was
not
in my
very common.
20s at this time, which was beneficial for me.
Right.
I had gone through the muck and everything else before the age of 22.
I got you. I got
So
you.
at 22, like I had been through enough to where I was like, you know what? The stupid stuff, for the most part, had gotten out of my system,
Right.
right?
Right.
Which is why I kind of relate to you and connected with you when I met you, because I was like, man, he's going through it. I can't tell him anything that because it's like you gotta share things with people in its time,
Mm, mm,
right?
yeah.
And as much as I knew you were going through stuff when I met you, you still had to go through and grow through the things that you were experiencing.
Right.
Because I knew for a fact that there was very little that I could have said to you in terms of, hey, Mitchell, don't do that.
Right.
It wouldn't have worked for me, so I knew it wouldn't have worked for you, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you had to experience certain things, but all I knew that I could do was just be there, listen, and then share things that I knew you would pick up on at some point without having to be forced. And I share that because that's what I learned in my own journey and in my own process. And these things that I'm sharing with you are the things that taught me that,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
I got you.
So, and to your point with the student government, I walked into an office and asked, hey, what types of extracurriculars do you all have here that I can get involved with or can even consider joining because I'm looking for things to keep me involved and to get involved. So that way I'm also learning how to be of better service ultimately. And it's self improvement, but it's also how do I also give back? And then how do I keep myself out of trouble?
Right. Right.
which was really the underlining thing here, right? That was the
Yeah.
foundation of all of it. How do I keep myself out of trouble, but use that time and the energy to actually develop myself further? And I was made a couple of recommendations. One lady that I was directed to at the time, she was one of the few people that a lot of people paid attention to, but she was one of the most powerful people that I've ever met in my life.
Mm,
Dude, I kid you not, I walked into her office. This was one of the first people that ever sat me down, listened to me, and then based on what they heard me say, just gave me options. And just their energy alone, I love this lady to this day to death, bro, because she just had that much of an influence on me to not only give me options, but then also would open her doors to me at the same time, once I made my decision to join the student government, she said you might want to consider this. It's called student government, and you should even consider being a representative at the time, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? I ain't come here for this. That was my initial gut reaction, and I said that to her. I was like, I'm not a student government person. And she was like, it's not quite what you're thinking. Because at the time, I was like, I don't like politics. And to
Right.
me, that's what it sounded like. I was like,
Right.
I'm not a politics person. I don't like anything political. I don't want to be in politics. I care less about it.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't care for government like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's not quite what you think. And to answer some of your another one of your questions, student government at any college is basically the assembly of students who choose to join in to figure out ways to come up with real solutions for their own needs within the college setting,
Okay. Makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
To sum it all up.
Yeah.
And when I got involved, man, it put me at the table and in rooms with other students that really had me looking around like, yo, the community college ain't quite what people say it is, because I'm seeing some smart people in here. I'm seeing some very talented people, and I'm meeting some very talented and smart individuals in here. And it really started to have me just look at things a little differently, because initially I never wanted to go to a community college because of the perceptions that come with it,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then now I'm meeting these young folks and people around my age who are super sharp. And for me, my mentality was, you will never be the weakest link in here. Just naturally, it was like, I went into competitive mode. It was like, you know what? It's not about even being the outspoken one, but you can't let nobody outwork you,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing these people work hard, bro. I'm talking between the classroom and everything else outside the classroom that they were all choosing to do. And it helped me really just understand that there's a different level to this thing.
Mm.
And that's why the network of people, to your point that you brought up, the network of people that you choose to be around is very important, because they can either force you to level up, or the opposite.
Oh yeah. Far too well.
Right. And that group in particular, man, it forced me to become a person that literally was out here working and always constantly improving. And I was failing miserably at a lot of stuff, bro,
Yeah.
because I'm young and dumb, thinking I know a lot and everything, and failing miserably, falling flat on my face. But it was the safest environment for me to be able to be picked up, not just on my own, but there were people that would be picking me up, and then it will give me time and energy in terms of just helping me really see where things are going wrong, and then giving me feedback and even support, and even being there for me in ways that I had never experienced before.
Wow.
And it really helped me out a lot. And that's why to this day I tell people, look, unless a 4-year school that you want to go to is giving you at least half of the tuition and fees covered in scholarship dollars, go the 2-year route first.
Mm. Earn it. Earn even
Go
more.
earn it.
Yeah.
Go earn it. And go learn and experience things that can help prepare you to where you're going to be able to get that. Because everything, when I tell you that I got most of my 4-year, or by the time I was graduating from the 4-year, everything got paid off and I didn't have to worry about paying anything else, it was because of everything else that happened at the community college level.
Mm.
That's what positioned me for that. There's levels to this thing, dude.
Yeah.
Everything we do with this moment prepares us for the next moment, or it removes the moments that we want,
Right.
depending on how we handle it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's answering your question, brother.
100%. It did. And it made me think of, so like you said, when you started, you told us about, like you said, growing up in America, moving here, having the difficulties, having the trauma from developing here, and the pain that you felt there, and how you stated to yourself and you made it come true, like, you're going to be the best of this thing. You're going to kill it. You're going to become an excellent communicator and do everything you want to do and not let anybody hold you back. How much did that mindset play into this? Okay, I have to be purposeful. I have to develop as much as I can. I have to stay away from all the stupid stuff. How much did that original pain play into you making sure you were completely purposeful in your actions?
Man, that's a great question, dude. Thank you for this. Man, I'm having some fun with you right now. That's an excellent question, brother.
Yes, sir.
It was a part of all of it. And this is where I have to tell folks your pain, it could either be used to fuel your purpose or it could be what makes you falter.
Right.
But we get to choose that because everything that I'm sharing with you comes back to choice, brother.
Yes, it does. Yes, sir.
Everything comes back to choice. Those are the things that I chose to do with my pain
Right.
versus others that I know who have chosen to do other things
Right.
with their pain. We either cower or we're propelled to run through brick walls. But for me, what I know is pain. I've also dealt with adversity at levels that are unimaginable since I was a child,
Mm.
right? I still remember to this day being bathed with cold water in the dark when I was younger by my mother in Africa, way before I even learned how to speak English.
Right.
I still remember these things because some certain things you just don't forget.
Right.
I still remember being picked on by the kids that I grew up with, or even family members that I grew up with, because even before I spoke English, I would tell them while we were in Africa and I was young and little, in our dialects at the time, I see myself in America one day, and I'm going to be in America. So much so that they started making fun of me, and they would call me Abrochiman because that's what we called Americans.
Oh wow.
And I'm talking, this is all before any of this stuff even came into fruition and manifestation, bro. But I just always, for me, I've just always been very self-aware, and it's almost like you speak things into existence, but not because it just happens because you say it's going to happen,
Right.
but you're willing to go through the things that are going to come with
Right.
it
Right.
because it comes with a lot.
Yeah.
Once we make a decision to go after something or that something is ours and we are pursuing it, what we should expect is that we're going to get tested.
Yeah. We gotta earn it.
Because to your point, we have to earn it. And life wants to make sure that we're here to earn it versus us thinking that it's just going to hand it to us.
Right.
So it's played a part in all of it, man. I think it's even been necessary, really, because ultimately we also have to be ready for what it is that we're asking for.
Mm.
We have to be prepared because it comes with nothing but responsibilities, brother. And we have to be the people, the humans, the man or the woman that is ready for that responsibility that comes with that desire. And we have to be intentional and purposeful. If we don't have purpose behind what it is that we're going after or a reason as to why we're doing this thing, we're wasting our time, man. And then it's easier for us to just stay in bed when we feel like, oh, it's raining and I don't feel like doing nothing. Or, oh, I'm feeling pain right now, so I just don't feel like doing anything. And
Right.
then we succumb to our feelings.
Yep. Yep.
Life don't give a damn about our feelings, dude. The things we want don't care about our feelings, man.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, dude.
No, not wrong at all.
Right. But we let our feelings dictate things for us, and then we wonder why life sucks.
Why are things like this? I don't know, man. Let's take a
Oh
look.
no, life sucks, man. It's like because you're choosing to move and do things based on how you're feeling, and that's only temporary, right?
Yes. Yes.
But nah, this is good, very good stuff, man.
I'm enjoying it myself, man. I love this. This is amazing.
What else you got? I hope I'm answering your questions too,
Dude,
because
you've answered them greatly, for sure. Um,
awesome.
I liked when you brought up earlier, again with the group. You got into the group, the student government, president or that group. I don't know why I'm fumbling that so hard,
You're
but
good.
when you started seeing the blueprints, seeing the different blueprints of the different buildings, the new reconstructions, remodeling, and you started just walking around seeing it all differently. And it's like it kind of sounded like you had an entire shift of your vision for just the college. Like it wasn't like you were kind of like narrowed in before then to your own pursuit, but then your eyes started opening up to everything else. Like that's what it sounded
Absolutely.
like. I,
Absolutely.
so I guess
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was, I was just going to say, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. What that did for me is that it allowed me to, in that moment or in the process of experiencing those things, to really dream at levels that I've never dreamt before.
Yeah.
To see myself as part of bigger things that I had never even thought about before. Because here I am, I started looking at it and asking myself, how is it that you're the only person that's a student that's even with these types of people who are making these decisions to even make these things happen that everybody else and even the people that are working for this school, they're not even aware of. And here's the flip, here's the other side of it too. And this is smack dab in uptown Charlotte. And then I'm also watching the actual city of Charlotte change and transform.
Yeah.
And it really immediately said to me, you were brought here for a reason and for a purpose, and you're here to grow with this city, this community, and this region overall. So I saw myself being a part of helping the city of Charlotte grow, not just the college anymore, and the entire area around Charlotte. I felt like it was a part of my responsibility now because of the experiences that I've been getting to be and become a leader amongst my peers.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's how it started transforming my mindset because it wasn't just about the buildings anymore.
Right. Right.
It was about developing into a leader
Being
because those things weren't being handed to me for no reason,
right.
or those opportunities weren't being afforded to me for no reason. And those relationships also were not being connected to me for no reason. And I was learning a ton from every single one of those people. They just didn't know it.
That's so awesome, man.
And it forced me, man. It challenged me to make sure that I was always working at how I became a better leader. Not because I'm standing in front of people telling them what to do, but how do I become the best person or the best of servants?
Mm.
And the things that I did, like student government, are the things that really showed me and taught me and gave me the opportunity to experience and learn what it truly meant to be transformational
Mm.
and a servant and a true leader.
True leader.
Because everything we were doing were around or centered around how we improve things for ourselves and our peers, which were the student body for the entire school. That was it. And I couldn't have asked for anything better than that, dude,
Yeah.
especially at that stage in my life. And then to be around and surrounded by those types of people that were also peers of mine who were brilliant in their own individual ways and who were also bringing things to the table that I felt was inspiring and motivating even for me. Man, it forces you to grow. You got no choice,
No choice. You're there. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It makes me think, or not makes me think, but so to circle back into the lady that was earlier on that
Hmm.
you talked to, she listened to you for like one of the first people to ever truly like listen in that way, like you're saying.
Right.
It's crazy the way you explained everything. It's like she saw the side of you before you did.
Absolutely.
She's like, you had no idea. You're doing
Dude,
your own thing. Yeah.
I'm out here thinking I got this thing figured out. I'm young, skinny, and scrappy, and overly ambitious even at some to some degree. And I'm like, but this lady was always so peaceful and calming,
Mm,
and she never ever told me no to anything.
right.
She never told me that whatever I was thinking was impossible or anything. She would just listen, and then she would give me her honest thoughts and feedback and opinions and everything. But I knew that it was coming from a place of love
Right.
and care and support.
Right. But
And I just felt it.
yeah, you felt it. Well, and my point too is that like in those explanations, whatever you were talking to her about, you were putting your what you felt was your what you were going through, but something
Mhm.
in you, which again you were completely oblivious to it at this point, so to say, She said, "Hey, this guy's a leader. This guy, even though he's not even focused on, so to say, helping everybody else, he needs to be. He's ready to do it, and he's going to get in that position to be able to do so." Like,
Man, that was the best way I've ever heard it put because I never thought about it that way. But to your point, she saw me as a leader way before I even thought of myself as a leader.
right,
She saw it clear as day. So much so that, dude, that she intentionally had me doing stuff that I was even trying to rebel against her with. For example, one day, once I joined the student government as a representative before the presidency and all that stuff, we got done with an event, and on that campus there was a kitchen area that was in public. It was all anybody and everybody could see where the sink was and everything. There was a stack of dishes and you name it, and she asked me to go wash it. Brother, I kid you not. I looked at this lady like I don't do dishes in my own house. And she looked at me dead eye, looked me dead in my eye, and said, "You should do this because it builds character."
mm,
And brother, I'm staring at this lady and I'm fighting myself. And I'm like, I don't want to do this, and I'm really not trying to do this. But when she said it builds character, I said, you know what, you got me.
you got me.
Bro, I'm talking about I was in a sweater, it was a turtleneck, and I'm dressed fly that day, bro.
We're gonna stack of dishes. Fucking mess gonna be
And
inevitable.
then I walked my happy behind over to the to them dishes. I rolled up my sleeves and I washed dishes in public, bro.
Yeah.
And I really just, once again, I just watched it to the best of my abilities and just did it to the best of my abilities because somebody that I trusted, that I knew cared about me, said that it would be good for me.
Mm,
And she wasn't wrong either. She wasn't wrong, bro.
that's awesome.
And she helped to mold and shape me into the leader that she saw me as by doing things like that intentionally.
Wow.
To this day, because of lessons like that, bro, like I'm first to dive in to do whatever's necessary. It don't matter what it is. If it's cleaning up dog poop or human poop or whatever poop is out there for the sake of the mission being accomplished, I'll be the first one to go pick it up, bro.
I'm there.
Yes, I need some damn gloves to begin with, and I'll pick up the gloves and use it.
Right.
But I'm no longer afraid of any level of work. And I don't care if I'm being watched as I'm doing it. Because the reason why I didn't care to do things like that in public at that time was because I was caring more about how people looked at me.
Mm-hmm.
It was my own personal insecurities and traumas and you name it
Right.
that had me fearful of what people perceived me as if they saw me washing dishes. Interesting, ain't
It is,
it?
man. It is.
But this is what happens when we let time and life happen and we are open to the lessons that come with everything that happens. We see things as clear as day. And this, to your point, this lady saw this in me and for me and then helped mold me. And she was always there. Her door was never closed. Every time I reached out, she opened her door and had me sit down and she listened.
She
And
listened.
then she did what she had to do based on what she heard. But she fed me whatever I needed based on what she heard me say, even if it didn't come out of my mouth,
Yeah.
because I was still confused about what it is I was looking for most times anyway. But she heard exactly what she needed to hear to then give me what I needed in that moment.
You know, man, that reminds me a lot of somebody I know. No
But you
kidding,
see
man.
how this all you see where it all comes from though, right?
Yes.
Because I can't take credit for this.
Right.
I'm only a product of going through and getting the experience that has helped me. So whatever I've gone through that has helped me is exactly what I've chosen to infuse in my own approach since the day you met me and even before that, as it relates to how we interact with each other as humans.
Powerful, man. Powerful.
I'm a learner, man. That's one of my biggest strengths. I'm a learner,
My learner.
and I love to learn.
I love that,
And
man.
I'm glad you're seeing that.
Oh man, I knew it. I mean,
So you owe a debt of gratitude to this lady.
yeah.
Seriously, if you think I've helped you, it comes a lot of it comes from this person that you've never met,
Right.
that I had the privilege and the pleasure and the honor of being mentored. Bro, she's been a mentor to me. She's been a big sister to me. She's been a mama to me. She's been so many things to me over these years. She's fed me, bro, like I'm talking not only physical food, I'm talking like spiritual, emotional food.
Uh-huh.
She's been so much to me. And to this day, I tell her I can never thank her enough. I will never be able to thank her enough. She's watching me do the things that you're saying and you're thanking me for. And I'm looking at her like, yo, look, without you, I don't think any of this is happening. I even tell her, I feel like I'm a disciple of yours.
Yeah.
Like she's one of the gems in this Carolinas as a whole that people don't even know and even pay attention to. But I'm on a mission that one day, bro, the whole world will know who she is, bro. And this allows me to help. It helps me in that process of that.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for that, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Oh my God, this has been amazing, man. This is great.
Man, this is so much fun, Mitch. It was a
I,
lot of fun.
I'm glad you're having fun. I know I am too, brother.
Oh yeah. So I don't know where else you want to go with this, but I'm here.
Man, I don't know. I want to keep it going though. You said closed mindedness. Well, you didn't say closed mindedness. You said closed, being open
Hmm.
to learning, being open to experience, being open to growth in general. Do you think that's what happens to most people? Is that they're closed to everything? They're just
Yeah,
closed.
yeah.
Like,
We're because the let me phrase it this way. It's not just that we're closed. We're always in I gotta protect myself mode.
mm,
And whatever we don't know or have control of, we're skeptical of.
right.
Does that make sense?
It does. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, we're
Because
skeptical.
it's not so much that we're choosing to be closed off. It's just the human mind only knows one thing, and that's to keep us protected.
Right. Avoid negativity.
Bingo, or avoid anything that might be painful
Right. Right.
or hurtful, whatever. Right?
Right.
So the natural defense is to be like this and to put walls up versus whatever happens, happens. We'll just take what comes and we'll learn and we'll grow from it.
Walk by faith.
Walk by faith and trust the process. Right?
Yes. Yes, dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
Being open to me is how I look at it. And that's why I appreciate my strength of liking and wanting to learn and being a learner. It allows me to just be open to whatever comes because I'm highly curious, right?
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take risks, but I also have learned to take calculated risks.
Yeah, we had to learn that the hard way, right?
Woo! Have we? You can relate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But we also must take risks in life, though.
Right.
The A life without risk is no life at all, brother.
That's it, man. It really is because it's like even just waking up in the morning is a risk and to a degree, you know.
Man, look, we're not guaranteed to walk past that bed when we get out of it.
That's right.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not guaranteed to be able to even live beyond just the step we take outside of our door when we step outside of it.
Right.
Nothing's guaranteed. The only guarantee we have in life is death
Right. And taxes. Well,
and taxes. Death and taxes, brother.
that's it.
Those are the only guarantees. But yet we are still afraid.
Right. But yet we're
We
still
we
afraid.
yet we're still afraid and we live in fear. And that's what prevents us from accomplishing and manifesting and even actualizing our true potential.
What prevents us from being our true self?
That's it. It prevents us from even accomplishing the things that we're supposed to accomplish in our truest form. And I'm here on the road to actualization, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The path,
And
man.
it's a path and it's a journey. And I'm on that journey.
I'm
And
running on that.
until the air is taken out of these lungs,
That's
I'm
right.
staying on that journey because it's quite a ride too, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But nah, man, great questions.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
loving this.
Thank you. I don't even have anything else. I don't know. This has been really good, Armah. I really appreciate you, man.
Man, I got a question for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You shared a little bit earlier in terms of how we met,
Mhm.
but what is it that made you want to reconnect many years later,
Man.
right?
Yeah. So, like you said, we met when we did. I was the lost guy. I didn't know really anything. I felt like I was just going down this path, and you came into my life and opened my eyes up. Like you said, some people in your path did. That's what you did for me, man. You opened my eyes up to the capabilities, to the possibilities, in the little conversations we had, right? In the 1 hour block of time we had in that class, and the few different times I see you throughout the day. Here I was pushing myself down this path of nothing, and you were just a positive light, man. Like it was just like you were always go happy lucky. You didn't care, like it didn't ever seem like you were having a bad day, you know. And you were always there, always open, and always just you listened. Like I said, you listened to whatever nonsense I had going on at the time. Even though we never went in depth, I never went and told you like all the whatever going on, but you knew that you could tell I was going through some weird times. So you were always there for me, and I appreciated that. I needed that.
Hmm.
And I believe a lot of what rubbed off on me was your leadership, was your
Hmm.
willingness to go against the grain in a certain way, to not be a follower, to understand that our potential is exactly that. It's what we can do. But if we completely lose sight of that, what are we going to do? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What can we do? Right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
to answer your question, I went through this. I graduated 4 years ago now, and went through this growth process. Doing my own thing. Whatever, working a little job, working here, working there, and it wasn't until the past few years really that I really doubled down on everything and got into this mode of okay, let's grow. And when I found you on Facebook, whatever 6, 7 months ago now, I was like, man, it brought back to my mind. It brought back those times in my mind where I was just this lost guy and how much you helped me. So I was like, man, I got to reach out. I got to reach out. I
Hmm.
got to say thank you. I got to be thankful for and show you appreciation because it was, I can't thank you enough for the impact you had on me at the time you did.
Wow,
So I
that's
just really,
powerful, man.
I just really appreciate it, man. And I can't, same kind of thing. Couldn't pay you back if I tried. So
Man, and I've said this to you, but I'm going to say it again. I'm just grateful that you chose to take whatever you took from our actual engagements with each other, right?
mhm.
And our experiences with each other that has helped you be able to push through and beyond all the stuff, man, right? Because to your point, Mitchell, you never had to tell me the details of the things that you were going through and dealing with. But the beautiful thing about being humans, once we choose to actually connect on that level, we can sense these things about each other.
That you did.
Right?
Yeah.
And I knew because every time I was around you, I would look at you, and when I looked into your eyes, I saw you smiling, but I also felt the pain behind the smile. I felt it, and it was undeniable.
Yeah.
But I also saw something in you that I knew for a fact that everything you were going through was going to help you actually become ready for. I knew it.
I'm glad
I
you knew it.
knew
I'm glad you knew it, man.
it. And look at what you're doing now, though, Mitchell, is my point. Look at what you're doing with this is going to help people. This is going to help people, Mitchell. It's helping me, and you don't even know it. It's helping me remember things. And it's reminding me to consistently continue doing these types of things because it matters. So
Certainly.
thank you for that, Mitchell.
I thank you, man. I thank you. I just,
And
yeah.
go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, I mean, yeah, I don't have a loss for words, man. I appreciate you, and yeah, I'm just happy to be where I'm at, man. I'm happy to be on this process of growth, and to have someone like you in my corner. So
I'm not going nowhere. And I told you this before. I'm here as you need me. I've said that to you since I met you as a teenager. And I hope that my actions are proving that.
for sure,
Because you're a young adult now with your own family now, which is beautiful to me. You got a beautiful baby girl,
thank you, man.
and
Thank
she's
you,
got an amazing father.
thank you.
You see what I mean? And this is why I do what I do right here. So thank you for confirming to me, validating, and reinvigorating me to keep going. Because this is truly the reason why I do what I do, Mitch. Like, all jokes aside, in all truthfulness, who you're becoming is the reason why I've chosen to do the things that I do. That's it.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it.
There's nothing better than this, Mitchell. There's nothing in the world that's better than this. Seeing someone or meeting someone as a teenager that is going through so much that they don't even think they're going to get out of or have a way out of. And then fast forwarding to see them actually now becoming who you saw them in their fullest potential later, years later. There's nothing greater than this, Mitchell. Right?
Powerful,
and
man.
I and I'm watching you smile, but it's a different smile than the one that you would show me when I first met you. There's real joy in this smile now versus the smile that I saw that was a smile with pain behind it. I hope this is making sense, man.
Oh, it's making a lot of sense, bro. It's making a lot of sense. I was a little lost for words.
But that's life. This is why because the thing is, we're always changing. The choice is whether we're changing for the better or for worse. Because we're not going to stop changing.
Mm-mm.
As much as we want to avoid change, it's not possible.
Mm-mm.
We just have to make a decision and choose whether that change is going to be for the better or for the worse.
On a day-by-day basis.
All we got is one day at a time because we have to live in the present and in the moment. Every day you saw me, the reason why you saw me the way you saw me is because I was taking full advantage of every single second of that day, and my mentality was, I'm going to dominate it.
That's what stood out, man. I didn't know it, but that's what always stood out. Like you said, you were always like a beacon of light, man. And I don't know if I ever saw you without a smile in those times.
Bro, I almost died 7 times.
Like Why would
Let's
I
put
not
that
be
into
happy?
perspective. And I'm here still. What I got to be mad about? I've already been living hell, and I'm still here.
I'm still here.
What do I got to be mad about?
Nope.
I got food. I got a beautiful wife. I got beautiful, smart, intelligent children. What the hell do I got to be mad about? Real talk.
Real talk, man. Real shit.
I just choose to put things into perspective, brother.
Yes, sir.
And in the grand scheme of things, when we truly pay attention and focus on the things that we have that are true blessings, we have zero reasons to be mad or negative or pissed off or angry.
That's it, man. It's all a gift.
It's all a gift. That's why it's called a present.
That's it. That's it.
And that's all we got. The moment is the present.
That's it, bro. Yes, sir.
It's a gift. God makes no mistakes, man.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
So I thank God for your life, man.
No, I do. Yes, sir.
I really do, in more ways than you know. Because I remember your story. I remember your stories, actually.
Yeah.
And then here you are. So you're truly proving what God has always shown me. And he showed me. It wasn't me just seeing, but God showed me who he'd formed you to be when I met you. And that was the person that I always spoke to. Yeah, I hope this is making sense.
It is, man. It is. It is. Like you
So
said,
all glory to God.
all glory to God, man.
All glory to God, man.
Wow.
That's it for me, though.
Yeah. No, I just really appreciate you being on here, man, and, giving it your best as always. So.
I know nothing else, brother. I'll do nothing else but that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know? But I'm here for you. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you. And however I can continue to support you along your journey, I've been here and I ain't going nowhere.
I appreciate that, Armah. I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. So you know how to get a hold of me, man.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you do.
What's up, guys? I hope you truly enjoyed the video. I know I had a blast making it with Armah. If you would like to get in contact with him and learn of any of his creation or content, he will be linked on everything below in the description. If you got something from this, if it was insightful or it helped you in some sort of way, please leave a like, comment below what you got from it or what made you think, or maybe a question that you had. And yeah, guys, subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and we're just going to keep on going, man. What else will we do, guys? Keep fighting the good fight. Keep being who you should be for the world. Let's do this.